Okay, hello my friends, and welcome to another live stream of the Alpine Foxes. Hi, nice to see you. I'm really curious how many are going to join me on this very special tour. Hello Heidi. Who else is coming? 8 people already. Never forget that you can always watch. Hello Brigitta, I see locals. This is an English stream, okay? This is an English stream, but you are all welcome to join me. First of all, my usual question. Hello Didi. First of all, my usual question, is the sound okay? Can everyone hear me? Give me a heart. Hi to all of you. Hello, Jakob. Jakob, is the sound good? Sound is good? Okay, and I think we're going to start. Hello, Wendy. Hello, nice to see you again. Hello. So, my friends, this is a very special live stream. We are going to see one of the most visited sites of not only Vienna, but actually Austria, with about 4 million, people are watching me already, with about 4 million visitors per year. We are talking about Schloss Schönbrunn Palace. Hi Natalie, hello, good to see you again. Hello Christopher. Schönbrunn Palace, the former summer castle of the Habsburg emperors of Maria Theresa. It was her favorite project here, and also the following generations. So it was mainly 18th century when it was turned into a big palace, modeled after a little bit after Versailles Palace in France. The plan is today to do like a very traditional tour. I did Schönbrunn already twice in German. That was a very like secret tour, going through all the secret places of the park. Today, since it's an English tour for possible visitors of the Alpine Foxes in the future, I will do it more the touristical way, but I'm Jacob. There is Jacob. He tries to hide, but he cannot hide. Hi, Lynn. The more touristical way, but no worries, it will not be a touristy stream at all. And if you cannot see the stream now, you can always watch it later on our YouTube channel, the Alpine Foxes channel. All right, my friends, you saw me enough now, and I would like to turn the screen around, always one of the most exciting moments. It worked again. Okay, you can see that the weather is very unpredictable today. Let me put it like this. It was sunny all day long, but at the moment, sun and rain are in a constant battle. It has been like this all of July, and it's drizzling a little bit. This is why I'm using my old gimbal, and I'm hoping that all will be fine. As long as it's not going to start pouring, that's important. But we will be in the under the trees anyway, very soon. Okay, friends, we are here at the main entrance of Schönbrunn Palace. You can see the 2 obelisks. This is also a kind of time travel for you. Imagine to be here in the 18th century, probably invited at a festivity of Maria Theresa, and you are arriving in your carriage here. You would drive with your carriage around here, all around, and then in the front of the palace there is a big outdoor staircase. We are going closer anyway, no worries. You can see the grey skies behind the palace, unlike the picture we posted. And there you could step off your carriage and walk upstairs to the first floor, and behind the curved doors, like the arch doors, there is the big ballroom. That's the so-called big gallery, the hall of mirrors of Schönbrunn Palace, more or less. And there most of the big parties happened. Let me tell you a little bit about the history while I'm walking closer. And if you have any questions, Martin is also watching. He will be happy to answer all the questions. And Jacob might also do the same. I'm not alone, as always. Foxes are never alone. 43 people already. I'm so happy. I'm walking here in the rain with you. That's nice. At least it's not hot anymore. Okay, so of course Schönbrunn Palace, as you see it nowadays, did not always exist like this. In the Middle Ages already, here was a mill and a little farmhouse, and that was surrounded by a big forest. And in the forest was a lot of deer, like foxes, boars, deer, and so on. And in the 16th century, the Habsburgs decided that they wanted to buy that mill house and turn the mill house into a hunting lodge. When they made a hunting lodge out of it, it was not yet like it is today. It was much smaller. The garden looked differently. It was more like an Italian garden with a lot of orange trees and lemon trees. Nowadays the gardens are completely different, so you will see them a little bit later on. And then came the time of Leopold I, and he wanted to have a big palace. You know, Leopold I had a big enemy sitting in Paris, and that was Louis XIV. And Louis XIV obviously had Versailles Palace. So everything the French had in Paris, the Habsburgs also wanted to have a little bit. And this is why they started building and planning this beautiful big palace. Originally in the time of Leopold, I'm sorry, I'm excited. In the time of Leopold, it was planned to be larger. Now you can say, what? Larger? It is large already. But yeah, it was planned to be much, much larger, and the gardens should be larger and wider and whatever. But you know, Leopold died. The following generations were not so interested in the palace and in keeping up such a big palace. It took some time until Maria Theresa finally was born in the 18th century, and for her, Schönbrunn Palace was her favorite project. She absolutely loved the palace, and she wanted to turn the little hunting lodge that was here, the Italian-style garden, into a monument for the glory of her family, because her family and the power of her family was extremely important for her. And so she started, together with her architect Nicolas Pacassi, to plan the enlargement of the palace. The color, by the way, which we call Schönbrunn yellow, was not like this from the beginning. Schönbrunn had different colors at the beginning. This typical Schönbrunn yellow finally comes from was put on the facade at the beginning of the 19th century. Yeah, the Schönbrunn yellow. It's a very sunny, bright color. And usually, I'm so sorry that I cannot show you the blue skies today. Can you hear me properly? Okay, it's windy. It's a little bit windy. I cannot show you the blue skies today, but usually when the skies are blue behind the palace, it looks very, very beautiful together with the yellow. But I'm still hoping that you are enjoying our little walk. I hope you are somewhere where it's dry. And I actually really enjoy the little drops of rain. It was so humid recently, so I love it. Here you have some horses, some fiacre horses. Imagine to sit in one of those carriages and going all around the palace in the carriage, waving to the people. I did it once with guests from the US. It was fun, I have to admit. Little side remark. In the upper floors of the palace, maybe you can see the open window over there, there are apartments. So people are living in this palace. Of course, it is a very nice address. When someone asks you, where is your apartment? You say, oh, it's in Schönbrunn Palace. This is, of course, kind of nice. On the other hand, you have to deal with millions of visitors in your front and in your backyard. And there is no excuse not to go jogging, you know, because you have a huge garden, you have a huge backyard. So one more view over to the main entrance. Here in this part is a nice coffee house, former Café Residence. And in here on the ground floor is a really lovely old kitchen where there are strudel baking seminars. I visited them a couple of times already. They are lovely people there, and they show you from the beginning how you do a strudel, and especially how you are stretching a strudel dough over your arms. It's a little bit tricky. I always buy strudel dough, but I admit I'm not baking strudel anymore. It's better to buy it at Demos or so. And the little house over there with the green roof, this is the theater. So they also had a theater in here where sometimes Maria Theresa and her children themselves were performing on the stage, because they all loved music, they all had trained voices or learned in childhood already how to play an instrument. They had very, very good teachers, music teachers. One of them was, for example, Christoph Willibald Gluck. And after we have seen the street side of the palace, we are now going to start our walk through the gardens. Let me ask you, how are you all doing? Are you fine? Are you enjoying the summer? Is it hot wherever you are, or is it rainy as here today? Give me some hearts if you're enjoying yourself and if you are having a good time. So we are now walking towards the east side of the gardens. For the lazy ones, you don't have to walk through the gardens if you don't like to walk. There is also a little yellow choo-choo train. You can see it over there. It's parked under the trees. That takes you all the way up to the Gloriette on the hill. Great. I see lots of hearts. That's always a good sign. So there is the little choo-choo train that takes people through the gardens and up to the Gloriette Hill, which we are going to see a little bit later. While we are walking here, you can see lots of other buildings that are surrounding the actual palace. It's a little world out here. It's a place where not only the emperor's family used to live, but also, of course, lots and lots of servants, gardeners, grooms for the horses, and so on and so forth. So it's a little city within the city. When I say city within the city, of course, up to the 18th century and way into the 19th century, Schönbrunn was not part of the city of Vienna. It was outside of the city. It was far away from the city wall. If you wanted to get here, you had to go on your horse or in your carriage, usually on muddy, bumpy streets. It took a while to come out here. And then you were in the garden, then you were in the countryside. Schönbrunn was countryside. And that's also the reason why the Habsburgs built Schönbrunn, because they wanted to be away from the city, which was hot. The city within the city wall was very hot in the summer. They just wanted to escape. And of course, they also wanted to hunt. The little house here is the marionette theater of Schönbrunn. I can show you the program that they have. Yeah, you see the marionettes. They are the actual theater, the original theater is in Salzburg in the middle of Austria, but they have a little dépendance here. And what they are showing are, with marionettes, operettas which are shortened for children, like the magic flute, die Zauberflöte, and I don't know what the Donauwalzer is, but I suppose an operetta about Johann Strauss, whose anniversary year is 2025, so this year. So that's a very nice thing. You can spend a lot of time here in Schönbrunn. There are many possibilities of what you can do here. You can just visit the palace. I mean, it's nice to see it once, of course, yeah, and hear all the history. But what I especially love about the palace are definitely the gardens. And that's why we are going to see the gardens now. There is also a long yellow building over there. This is the so-called orangerie. This is where already in the old days they used to keep the delicate trees, the orange, lemon trees, the trees that couldn't stay outside in the winter months. They had to put them inside somewhere. And this is, after the orangerie in Versailles, the longest orangerie, the longest storage room for delicate trees in Europe. One part is still used like this, and one part is now used for concerts all year round. Okay. Here is a map. Maps are always helpful. So we just started here. So we are here. Bless you. Usually when I come to Schönbrunn with guests for in-person tours, we arrive at the palace and say, wow, this is such a big, big palace. And then when I show them the map and I show them the difference between the palace and the size of the grounds, they are amazed, yeah? And that's what I wanted to say before. The real star here in Schönbrunn are definitely the gardens. The gardens with all their hedges, neatly cut hedges, beautifully trimmed trees, with all their labyrinths and mazes, places where you could get lost, where you could meet for a secret kiss, you know. This was entertainment of the 18th century. This is what the people in those days liked. And you should never forget that the palaces, the garden palaces, were centers of entertainment, centers of politics, social meeting places where lots and lots of parties were celebrated. Yeah, we are going to walk now through a part of this park, and then we will see how far we get within 1 hour. Walk up the stairs. Lots of visitors here today. Every day, I have to say. There are some greenhouses here on the left side. They also have a gardener's school here in one part of the park. And behind these hedges here is the so-called Crown Prince's Garden, Kronprinzengarten. Here you have to pay a separate entrance. All the other parts of the garden, with the exception of the zoo and also the maze and labyrinth, are free of charge, so you can just come in. Of course, we are here close to the palace. That means there are also lots of visitors around here. But whenever you go away a little bit more from the main palace into the hedges and into the hidden places and ways, then sometimes you can be completely alone here. It's an absolutely beautiful recreation area, even when the skies are not blue. So, now we arrived on the garden side. This is the Lichte Allee. That's also where they were driving with their carriages. You can see the palace in the distance. And we are now going through the trees, under the trees, beautifully cut like tunnels. And of course, in a Baroque garden like this, there are not only trees, there are not only paths where people could walk. It is, please lead us through the zoo, Eve. I want it so badly, but they won't allow it. You need an own permission to guide through the zoo, and they won't allow it. I asked them already. But maybe one day, maybe one day. I cannot promise, but I'll try my best. So in a Baroque garden like this, there are not only beautiful places and squares, like this here was the playground of the kids, of the emperor's kids formerly. The place over there was a place where the nannies of the kids could sit and pay attention if the kids were all right. And nowadays it's a restaurant and coffee house. Come on, we are in Vienna. We need coffee houses everywhere. But of course, you're welcome. But of course, there are also eye catchers everywhere in the park. With eye catchers, I mean beautiful pieces of architecture that that are amazing, that are fountains, that catches your eye. And the whole park's layout was made for the emperor standing in the middle of the terrace on the back side of the palace and looking around and showing the park and the views to important visitors. You see, also people are jogging. These are locals that are enjoying the park and that are especially enjoying the quiet part of the park, because here is no one. It's quiet, it's shady and beautiful, and this is the area for the locals here, which I, sly fox that I am, also like to show to my visitors, of course, online, but of course also during in-person tours. As you know, the Alpine foxes never only show the main sites, but also the secret places, the hidden places. We know all the secrets and we love to share them, but psst, only for you. Jacob is smiling behind me. So we are arriving at one of the two Najaden fountains. What is a Najade? A Najade, oh, squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. I love squirrels. Baby. It's a paradise also for animals, of course. Yeah, come here. You Schatzi. I'm happy that I could show you this lovely squirrel. So, a Najade is, of course, a person that does not really exist. It's a person from the Greek mythology, and it is a mixture between a woman and a fish, a woman with fish tails. And Najaden traditionally can be found close to bodies of waters, at rivers, ponds, wells, and so on. It's their job to take care of the body of water. When the water dries out, the Najade has to die. So I'm happy that there is enough water in here, and our friend here, yeah, walnuts. Hello, squirrel. Everyone is happy to see a squirrel. I already saw a fox here. No kidding. I said, hi brother, how are you? So the Najade takes care of the water, and I'm really happy to see that there is enough water so the Najade will stay alive. The Najaden fountain has a sister fountain on the other side of the park, and we will see the first beautiful view now, because you can see from here the palace. So it's a beautiful reflection in the water. You see the Najade, the nice back of the Najade, and in the distance, behind those beautifully cut trees, there is the palace with the terrace where people are standing. That means, as I said before, when you're standing on the terrace, you can look over to the Najaden fountain. And not only to the Najaden fountain, but also here. This is the obelisk fountain over there, and I would like to go there, at least a little bit closer, so that you can see it a little bit better. Someone is whistling happily. Yeah, it's the scale of everything that is so fantastic. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. The park is divided into 3 different parts. In the middle, in front of the palace, like of the garden side of the palace, is an area where flowers are planted in beautiful ornaments. They look like needlework. And this is why this part is called the broderie parterre, or flower parterre. Broderie is French and means needlework. Later you will see the broderie parterre. Then, where we are walking right now, these are called bosquetten. A bosquet, that also comes from the French word for little forest. This is the area where the garden architect Jean Tréhet, a student of the famous André Le Nôtre, kind of brought architecture into the nature. It's tamed nature, cut trees, hedges, and so on, as I mentioned before already, and eye catchers, the fountains, and so on, which are unfortunately already turned off today, but they are not working all day long. I still hope that you like it. And then there is a third part, and the third part is the actual forest, part of the old forest where the Habsburgs really used to hunt. Behind the obelisk fountain in the forest is, by the way, a beautiful public swimming pool, the Schönbrunn Palace. It's a very shady, beautiful pool, never too crowded, I suppose. I don't go to public swimming pools anymore. But it's nice, yeah, that the park is actually used by locals. It's not part of a big museum. It is something where locals like to work out, read books, sitting on one of those benches here and just enjoying the beautiful nature. And now, of course, Schönbrunn is part of the city of Vienna. It is in the 13th district of Vienna, one of the outer districts of the city. The city has grown so much since the 18th century that Schönbrunn is not outside of the city anymore. When I walk here, I can hear the noise of the cars, because here on the left side is the wall that divides Schönbrunn Park from Grünberg Street, and that's a very, very busy street. I would say real life is over there. Real life. But we are going through the magical Schönbrunn Gardens now. The obelisk fountain is a symbol for the glory of the Habsburg family. An obelisk is a very old symbol of power. It collects the energy of the universe on the top and then reflects it into the four directions of the world. On the very top is an eagle. Eagles are always symbols of power, and the whole thing is on a kind of grotto, and on the obelisk is written that it was put up here during the time when Maria Theresa and her son Joseph II were ruling. And here is the choo-choo train coming, has a stop here in front of the obelisk fountain. Comes down from the Gloriette, by the way. Another little funny detail, on the obelisk are hieroglyphics, and because in the 18th century the Rosetta Stone was not yet found, so no one had any idea what hieroglyphics meant and what they represented and so on, so they just put random fake hieroglyphics on this obelisk to make it look more Egyptian. The people were very creative in the 18th century, and in Baroque times a lot of things were just, you know, fake, but fun to look at, beautiful to look at. We continue because I would like to show you now, I'm walking fast, I want to show you as much as possible, and I want to show you now the fountain that gave this palace its name. At the beginning, when the Habsburgs started using this here as their summer residence and hunting ground, the palace had a different name. It had the name Katerburg, Kater Fortress. And the story, the old legend goes that one of the emperors, we suppose it was Emperor Matthias, long ago, he was hunting in the forest. It's the forest, the old forest up here. And he was hunting in the forest, and it was a hot day, and he was thirsty, and suddenly he heard the sound of water, and he found a well. He tasted the water and apparently said, "Oh, what a beautiful fountain." My friends, this is the legend, yeah. I'm really not sure if this is true, but it's a nice story. And that beautiful fountain, the Fair Fountain, is still existing. They built a beautiful grotto-like, I'm walking through here now, through the hedge. They built a beautiful grotto-like building around the fountain, and I want to show it to you. You know, because most people who come here, most of the tourists who come here without the foxes, think that the big fountain in front of the palace, which you are also going to see, of course, that this is the beautiful fountain. Actually, it is the Neptune fountain. It is very beautiful, honestly, it's very beautiful, but it is not the fountain that gave this palace its name. Before we get to the fair fountain, to the beautiful fountain, let me also show you, oh, another squirrel. Let me also, it's squirrel day today, the little angel fountain here. Maybe the squirrel took a bath. It's a lovely place. It's always quiet here. And in former times, up to the 1970s, as far as I know, there were ladies sitting here and with cups, and you could buy a cup of water here. This is not possible anymore, but it's a lovely idea, isn't it? All right. Can you imagine? We are in a place with so many visitors, but we are basically alone here on this side. I really love this side a lot. I also love that they don't trim the trees so exactly here. They leave a little wilderness here for the bees and other little animals. And here, around this corner, it is the fair fountain, the beautiful fountain. The water is still flowing. Now you know the big secret of Schönbrunn. It's not the Neptune fountain that is the beautiful one. It's this one here. It's another Naiade, I think. Oh no, she has real legs, so she's not a Naiade. So this is the fountain that gave the palace its new name. Listening to my colleague. All right, but of course there is more going on. There is more going on, and around the next corner you will see one of the next highlights of this park, and this is the Roman ruin. You know the concept of Baroque gardens already. A lot is fake. Hello, a lot is fake. Yeah, fake hieroglyphics and buildings that look like houses, but there is nothing inside. Follies, more or less. And also, these ruins are not real ruins. They are fake ruins. They were built to look like ruins. Interesting. This is the idea of the 18th century. I'm not sure if we nowadays, modern people like us, would build a fake ruin, but you have to admit that it looks quite impressive, quite romantic, and it's also a fountain. The Roman ruins. The name is a little bit misleading. The original name was the ruins of Carthage. Why? Carthage was the worst enemy of the Romans way back in the Roman Empire. And when the Romans won over Carthage, that was a big success, a very, very important success. And this is why this was called the ruins of Carthage, because the Habsburgs ruled over an empire for 600 years that was called the Holy Roman Empire of German Nation. So it makes absolutely no sense to show Roman ruins here. Of course, it makes sense to show the ruins of the worst enemy here, and that was Carthage. The gentleman and the lady here in that quiet little pond, you can see how it is raining now. It's getting worse, but I'm okay as long as you are. The gentleman and the lady here are the Danube and the Enns, the two main rivers of Austria, or two of the main rivers of Austria. Roman ruins. Sometimes they put up a stage here in front, and they could perform an opera maybe, or tableau vivant and things like this. We are going to hide now in the trees. Jacob is opening the umbrella. We are prepared. Unterm Baum soll es eigentlich gehen, ja, okay. We are prepared. We had worse live streams already, hadn't we? So here is that important third part of the park. This is the actual forest. This is where there are real hiking paths. So sometimes when you walk through there, you have no idea, or you don't feel that you are in the middle of a city, more or less. It's an actual forest. Do you hear the sound of the rain? Go rain! Wait another 10 minutes, another half hour, please. But Jacob is waiting with the umbrella behind me, so we will be fine. Okay, we are coming to the broderie parterre now. The broderie parterre is the one with the beautifully planted flowers. And hopefully I can give you a nice view on that. And we will also see the Neptune fountain, the big fountain. It's a jogger. On the other side of the Neptune fountain is the entrance to the zoo. It's one of the many entrances to the zoo. So you have access to the beautiful zoo, which is very, very old, and was restored in the last 30 years in a fantastic way. Because, you know, an 18th century zoo is not good for animals. Because in the 18th century, the people had other ideas about how to keep animals. Animals, like the human being was the center of the universe, and animals were just there to show, wow, I have an exotic lion and an exotic tiger or whatever. So the human being saw itself as the ruler of the universe. But nowadays it's a little bit different, and the zoo has been modernized a lot, and now in some parts the visitors are standing in the old baroque cages and they are looking out at the animals in their big areas. Of course it is still a zoo, that means they are in captivity, but most of the animals were born in captivity. They would not survive in freedom. So they're doing a great job. This year they have baby cattas. I saw them. I fell in love with them. They have 3 little lynxes. And they already had a couple of panda bears. Now I need the umbrella, Jacob. A couple of panda bears, baby pandas. One year we had baby panda twins. They were super lovely. They were really, really cute. Okay. Now we are coming to the Neptune fountain, and from the Neptune fountain we will have this gorgeous view over to the main palace. Schönbrunn in the rain, guiding in the rain, streaming in the rain. Okay. Here you see Neptune. Neptune or Poseidon. Neptune is the Roman name for the god of the seas. Poseidon would be the Greek name, and you can see him up there on a shell. It's a big shell, chariot more or less. He's holding his trident in his left hand, and all around him are creatures of the sea. There are seahorses, so-called hippocampus, and the seahorses are on the seahorses are tritons sitting. The tritons are mixtures between man this time and fish, and they are steering the chariot of Neptune across the seas. There is also a story behind this fountain, of course, but it's a bit complicated, and I'm going to tell it to you once you arrive and do an in-person tour, because this is a teaser. It is a teaser tour. A wet teaser tour this is. The fountain is also, of course, a little bit nicer when the water is turned on, but it is still impressive when you see it without the water flowing and foaming across the different terraces of the fountain. So here is the Neptune fountain again. And Neptune has a fantastic view over to the main palace. So that's why I'm going to turn around here. I'm just hoping that it's just a shower. Here is the garden side of Schönbrunn Palace. Once per year, this garden is used in a very, very beautiful way. Then they are putting up a big stage in front of the palace, and the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra performs there. It's usually at the beginning of June, and people can come here without having to buy a ticket. So it's a free concert that the Vienna Philharmonic are performing. It's of course wonderful, but because it's usually very hard to get tickets for the Vienna Philharmonic. And here the people are sitting not between the flowers, but on the Gloriette Hill, and in between here on the ways they put up chairs and people can listen to the beautiful performance of the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm going to step here now. I'm going to fall into the fountain now. Would you laugh? And my idea is to walk with you again back to the palace and up on the terrace, because from there you will see the needlework flowers very, very well. Let's go there. So, this is the place that Maria Theresa chose to show the glory of her family. Of course, Maria Theresa had a husband. Her husband was actually the emperor. She was the Archduchess of Austria. She was the ruler of Bohemia and Moravia and Hungary, and she actually owned countries. She owned her countries through heritage, whereas her husband ruled. He was the figurehead of the Holy Roman Empire of German nation. And she definitely wore the pants in this family. So she definitely had the power in this family. And in a certain way, she ruled half of Europe through her children. Maybe you have heard already that she had 16 children. She is mainly also famous for those 16 children. She had ladies, 16 children in the 18th century. This woman was an absolute wonder. And she also ruled constantly. Quite amazing. The 16 children, and I'm going to show you the broderie a little bit here, the flowers a little bit. The 16 children were part of the wealth of this family. I don't want to say that Maria Theresa did not love her children, but the children were part of the power of this family, because Maria Theresa was the one who picked the husbands for her daughters, and also told her sons, no, that princess over there, that might be a good one for you. And she didn't care if the kids were happy with the choice or not. Yeah, you were a Habsburg princess or prince, and you just had to behave. And this is why many marriages ended up as a disaster. I know many examples of marriages in the Habsburg family that were not very happy. I have to admit. So when Maria Theresa brought all her kids here, and when they all grew up here, and when she started making this palace larger and adding several floors because she needed so much space for her big family, she more or less told her husband, okay, I'll take care of the palace, you take care of the gardens. You go gardening, Franz Stefan, go gardening. And then, the moment she had completed the palace, which was actually built in 3 different periods of time, then she more or less told her husband, okay, and now I'm going to turn the gardens into a masterpiece of the glory of our family. And you, Franz Stephan, you can have the little part of the palace on the very left side. So Franz Stephan, maybe he was happy about that. Franz Stephan became the founder of the botanical garden here in Vienna. He loved botanics, and he was also a financial genius. He actually was planted the basis for the wealth of the Habsburg family. So, yes, and now it's time to turn around because there is another eye catcher here in this park. Oh, it's, of course, not the gentleman in the orange t-shirt. He was looking at me, he stared at me. No, you have the palace here, and in a baroque, typical baroque garden, the idea was to have symmetry. It was very important to have a symmetrical building on the other side of the gardens. And Maria Theresa wrote to her maybe most famous daughter, Maria Antoinette, in Paris, the hill in Schönbrunn is still empty, and I don't know yet what to put on it. I just know that whatever will be up there will be visible from far away one day. And now I want to turn around, and we are going to check if she did a great job. Let's see what is on the hill. Ta-da! This is the famous gloriette. The famous gloriette. It's a folly. It's a piece of beautiful architecture that is on top of this hill, and it makes the whole park symmetrical. It's like a palace here and a palace on the other side. The gloriette was already in the 18th century used for festivities. There was a very old-fashioned elevator in there, which was mainly a wooden box decorated with red velvet inside and chairs inside, and the poor servants had to pull that elevator with the ladies and gentlemen up to the top floor of the gloriette, and they could look around and enjoy the beautiful view over to the palace and over to the city, which was then still really far away. Nowadays it's a little bit easier. Nowadays there is a modern elevator leading up there, but there is still a viewing terrace on top of the gloriette. And guess what is in the middle of the gloriette? Send me some guesses. I'm curious to hear that. Jacob, you are doing a great job, thank you. It's not easy in that rain. Okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. It's a coffee house. But that was not a tricky one, was it? That was not a tricky question. Okay, we're walking along the broderie parterre. You can see the statues along this part of the park. You can also find them in other parts, also in the bosquet. Those are, again, statues of heroes, half-gods and gods. Martin Muchic knows, of course, that there is a cafe house inside. Of the Greek and Roman mythology. And of course, you know, by putting all these heroes, all these fantastic people from the mythology here, Maria Theresa wanted to show, look, we are as brave and as smart and as cool and wealthy and powerful as the old Greek and Roman heroes and gods. All right, my goal is now to reach the stairs. Maybe we are lucky and the last minutes will be without rain. I can see a raindrop on the camera. It's unavoidable today, I'm really sorry. But it makes the whole thing authentic. It's a live stream. It is a live stream. Okay, yeah. Do you have a... Okay. It's better. Thank you, Jacob. Yeah. Now, probably you can see better what I mentioned before. We are now on the other side of the palace. We are on the garden side. There is the big terrace, and we are going to walk up the terrace and look around in the park. Probably you can spot some blinds down in the upper windows. These are definitely apartments. And here on the right side, on the upper floor, is a hotel suite that you can rent. It's operated by a big hotel close by, and it's a really exclusive hotel suite with 2 big bedrooms, a big kitchen, a dining room and a living room and 2 bathrooms. So if you come to Vienna, you want to have the absolute imperial feeling and you want to pay a little bit per night, then you can stay here in the hotel suite in Schönbrunn Palace. I think there is also butler service included, so why not do that at least once? We are very close to the garden side now, to the garden facade, and now I'm going to walk up the stairs. Wow, time rushes. I'm enjoying myself with you. As always, I love live streaming. I'm always super nervous before I start. Poor Jacob knows, and poor Martin knows as well. Poor Nico as well. But the moment I start streaming, it's all over. It's all over. And I'm just enjoying myself, carrying all of you up the stairs of Schönbrunn Palace. Okay, trying not to fall. All right, so here, behind these big windows, is the so-called small gallery. No, it doesn't work, Jacob. Last time I tried to film in here, but it's too, no, you cannot really see. Maybe you can spot the chandeliers. Definitely you can see me. Hi. So there is the big gallery and the small gallery behind these windows. And of course, now imagine, this was a summer castle. That means in the summer, when all the people were here, the shutters were open, not closed, the doors were open, you could feel the breeze inside, you could hear the voices of the people walking through the gardens. So it was definitely a different feeling than nowadays when all the tourists are here. I don't blame the tourists, it's a beautiful spot. Okay, thank you, Eve. That's a good view. That's the flower parterre, as it is called. On the left side, the bosquets, the trimmed trees, and on the right side, the same. And the layout, as I said before, was designed for the emperor standing exactly here, or rather, exactly here in the middle. From here, it's a possibility to see over to the obelisk fountain, which we saw at the beginning. You see the gloriette, and you see, I don't know if you see it, but there is a little yellow pavilion on the end of this road, and that is already part of the zoo in Schönbrunn. All right. We still have a few more minutes, and we are going to walk down again. Sorry. Going to walk down now and walk a few steps closer to the zoo. I would like to show you an area which is called At the Fish Pond. It's better now, Jacob, isn't it? I think it stops raining, at least for a while. So now here, this is the busy part, but you already know that there are also parts that are not busy at all and really enchanted places. Okay, I already know the way I'm taking you. Of course, I could continue now. Yeah, there is so much more to see. At the other side of the park, there is the main entrance to the zoo, and close to the main entrance is a big greenhouse. It's a huge greenhouse. So maybe one day I'm going to do the second part of this to show you the greenhouse. Here you see some of the statues, the heroes. Hey girl, you want to have dinner with me? Honestly, I don't know who that is. I know some of them, but not all of them. But we are going now into this little area, which is called At the Fish Pond. And then I know exactly where to finish this tour. We have to go through the hedges again. At the fish pond area is also a very quiet area. I always love those little areas with the fountains. Here the water is playing, and here is a different vegetation. And these are pine trees. I wish you could be here and smell how beautifully the trees smell. I have the impression to be somewhere in the mountains of Austria when I close my eyes. It smells so good. And in here is the pond. And those trees, they give such a nice shade that even on the hottest day, it's always a little bit cooler here in this area. So they actually also built the park for the people in their dresses and in their corsets and with their wigs. Horrible to think about it. To cool down, you know, to sit in the shade, to have it nice and relaxing and cool. Not only for hunting, not only for partying, but also for enjoying life, reading a book, having a glass of champagne, whatever. You see some water lilies here. And sometimes I also see kois, because I know that there are kois in this water. Years ago, I watched a big bird, like a stork. He landed here and started taking out the kois of the water. You know, those expensive fish. He ate them. It was amazing. We wanted to chase him away, but he became really angry, so we were helpless. There are also other birds here in Schönbrunn, only not today. The ducks. The ducks like all the ponds, and the ducks of Schönbrunn are very, very spoiled because they don't have to fly into the water. They have a little hole here, so-called duck hole, and a little ramp. And on this ramp, the ducks can easily walk into the water at the fish pond. And I know exactly where I take you now to finish our tour. Probably 3 minutes longer. I hope you still have the time. But you know, I'm always, it's always hard for me to stop talking and stop showing you around. It smells so good. Good for my lungs. I just said that the garden architects planned the gardens with a lot of shade, and that's why they also planned a couple of tunnels, green tunnels. The most beautiful one is the Wisteria tunnel. It's not in bloom anymore in May. This is a blue tunnel. This is a rose tunnel here. Could have some more leaves and some more roses, but the roses, they suffered a little bit from the heat wave we had in June, and then we had some hail and very heavy rainfall, so that's what the roses don't like. Walking through a little gazebo here, and there is a second. We are now on the western side of the palace. Another eagle is there. It's the so-called Kammer garden, and more of the beautifully planted flowers. Fountain over there. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you. So happy. Okay. Here, this gazebo was built here, and there are others in the park to have a little rest. Maybe the servants would serve tea here in the afternoon, or as I said, maybe a glass of champagne. And it's made of wood, and inside it has a very beautiful ceiling. I can show you. It's very nice ceiling. This one is restored. The other one on the other side that I just crossed, not yet. And this will be our final view now. This is the wisteria tunnel. I call it wisteria tunnel. So in May it is completely blue. It's so beautiful. And this was of course made to look beautiful, and also for the people of the palace to be outside but not in the sunshine, because they didn't want to damage their beautiful white skin, which honestly was not beautiful at all because they never washed themselves properly. Oh, I can still see some wisteria. Look here, some flowers. You see? And the clock tells me that it's about time to finish. Oh, the wisteria also smells so nice. That it's about time to finish our tour together. My friends, I enjoyed myself a lot. We survived the rain, and it was not too bad, was it? Hi. It's always amazing how quick 60 minutes are gone. I loved the tour with you. I'm so happy that I saw so many familiar names and that you are rejoining me. Danke an alle üblichen Deutschsprachigen, die immer so brav mitgehen. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. It was an absolute pleasure. Stay tuned. More English and of course more German streams will follow. I have a lot of ideas of what to show you next. And yeah, if you ever plan to come to Vienna, then please contact me, contact the Alpine Foxes. We will be very, very happy to take you around and show you much more and tell you many, many more stories. If you liked my tour, our tour, and if you want to buy me a beer or a wine, a Spritzwein, I will be very happy about that, but you don't have to, of course. All right, take care, have a great summer, come back to my next stream. It will be published on Facebook. Okay, have a good day. Goodbye. Bye.